Okay, so today let's come to IELTS Speaking Part 1 example. So the topic of today is television. Okay, the first one question. Did you often watch television when you were a child? Mm, uh, Definitely. When I was a kid, my parents often sat me down in front of the telly and turned on some cartoons, trying to get me to finish my meal. We didn't have cable TV though, so I watched a lot of reruns of the same shows. Do you often watch TV recently? Well, not really. I mean, we have a TV set and a cable subscription, so no, but we don't really watch the box all that much. I get something that we still watch from time to time in the voice or singing competition. It's all the rage in Vietnam right now and supposedly has a really high viewership. Okay. What kind of TV programs do you like the most? I'm a big fan of competitions on TV, like as I was saying, The Voice. I also find quiz shows quite interesting. I feel like I really broaden my horizons and learn a wealth of knowledge about the world around me. And the vocabulary highlights the tally mean TV, tap couple TV that mean couple subscription, TV set. Okay, rerun là tập chiếu lại đó from time to time thỉnh thoảng, all the rage, rất hot, high viewership, tỷ lệ người xem cao, nhiều view, broaden my horizons, mở mang đầu óc, a wealth of là rất nhiều một cái gì đó. Trong trường hợp này là I can learn a wealth of knowledge about the world around me. Okay, pro tips. Trong những câu hỏi chung chung, bạn nên lấy một cái ví dụ cụ thể, nó sẽ giúp cho bạn có thêm idea để phát triển. Ví dụ như là I don't watch TV too much. For example, I just sometimes watch The Voice. It is like the all on the range, how to use the all the range idiom. Okay. So as all the range in Vietnam right now, as all the range in Vietnam's right now, as all the range in Vietnam right now. Yeah, and it has very high viewership. Okay. Okay, so the next topic, holiday. So what do you do on your holidays? Well, it kind of depends really. If I only have a few days off, so I just stay at home and lounge about, maybe put on a movie or something, you know. On the other hand, if it's an extended holiday, so I probably go traveling. My favorite destination is Bangkok because of the food and the culture. So do you think holidays are becoming more and more important? Definitely, nowadays life is very hectic. And I'm always up to my ears in work, so it's very crucial to just take a break and get away from it all every once in a while. What kind of places do you want to travel to? My travel destinations of choice is metropolises. So my big cities, countries, culture, and feast on its delicious food. But from time to time, I might go for somewhere quieter, like a nice and secluded beach resort, for example. So do you prefer traveling alone or in a group? I tend to prefer traveling in the company of my friends and family as more economical, I think, as you can split the cost of accommodation and meals, and besides, the more the merrier. So vocabulary highlights, lounge about, thư giãn nhẹ nhàng, an extended holiday, sau là kỳ nghỉ dài, up to my ears in, bận trong cái việc gì đó, up to my ears in work, take a break, nghỉ ngơi, get away from it all là đi đi xa để nghỉ ngơi, every once in a while, thỉnh thoảng, destination of choice, địa điểm ưa thích, metropolis là thành phố lớn, feast on, ăn nhiều, from time to time, thỉnh thoảng, secluded, yên tĩnh tách biệt với thành phố, in the company of là cùng với ai đó, cùng với sự đồng hành của ai đó, economical tiết kiệm, split the cost chia sẻ chi phí, the more the merrier, càng đông càng vui. Okay. Okay, so the next topic, dancing. um so do you like dancing? Well, dancing is not exactly my forte. I mean, I haven't got a clue how to dance that set. When I hear my favorite song, I often cannot help but move my body to the music. I also love to watch other people dance. It's so energizing. What kind of dancing are popular in your country? I don't really know what type of dancing is in the moment, but I guess hip hops were always been quite popular. Dance sport is starting to pick up too now that there's a television show dedicated to this type of dancing. So this name, Dancing with the Star, I believe, is the name of the show. The shows really took the world by storm when it first aired. Is traditional dance popular among young people in your country? Not really, in my opinion. I mean, young adults often think of traditional dancing as obsolete, and they tend to prefer something more hip and trendy, like hip hop, for example. Traditional dancing is more common in remote areas, I believe. Okay, vocabulary highlights. Forte, haven't got a clue. For thời điểm mạnh, haven't got a clue, chả biết gì. Move my body to the music, nhún nhảy theo điệu nhạc. Energizing, giàu nhiều năng lượng, vui. Pick up, bắt đầu nổi. Dedicated to, dành riêng cho. Take the world by a storm, quấy đảo thế giới. Obsolete, obsolete, cổ hủ, hip and trendy, thời thượng. Ok, nào proceed. Mình thấy bạn có thể nói, tôi nghĩ rằng ở giữa hoặc đằng sau câu nó cũng là một cái thói quen của người bản địa ha. Not really in my opinion. Traditional dancing is more common in remote areas, I believe. Dancing with the Stars, I believe, is the name of the show. Những từ đơn giản như này làm cho văn nói của mình trở nên natural hơn. Okay. Okay, so we move to the next topics. Birthdays. Are people birthdays very important in your country? I guess for the vast majority of Vietnamese birthdays are kind of big deal. They often throw a lavish party to celebrate, and there's usually a lot of anticipation before big day. For example, people expect to get things that are on their wish list, and if they do not, it's gonna be a real letdown. How do people in your country celebrate birthday? So well, but people like to throw a birthday party as a posh restaurant, and usually there's a lot of eating and drinking. At the same time, there are also those who prefer to celebrate their birthday at home with their loved ones. So I guess there's a real sense of intimacy in doing so. What did you do on your last birthday? Well, last year's on my birthday, I had a few friends over at my house, and we had a nice dinner. Then we decided to hit the club and dance all night long. We drank a lot of booze, and I remember walking up to a splitting headache the next day. It was a blast, though. Our birthdays are more important for children or for adults. I think birthdays mean the world to small kids. They tend to expect a lot of presents and at least some kind of celebration. But by contrast, a lot of adults are probably too busy with their work to even think about their birthday. Okay, so vocabulary highlights. The vast majority of something, đại đa số, a big deal, một chuyện lớn, anticipation, sự háo hức hóng, a big day, ngày quan trọng, wish list, list những món quà mình mong muốn nhận được, ví dụ như là Christmas hay là birthday. Let down, sự thất vọng, throw a party, tổ chức tiệc, a posh restaurant, nhà hàng sang chảnh, loved ones, người thân bằng với lại the beloved ones. Okay. A sense of intimacy, một cảm giác rất là ấm cúng thân mật. Have friends over, mời bạn qua nhà. Hit the club, đi quẩy, booze, bia rượu ha. A splitting headache, đầu đau như búa bổ ha. It is a blast, rất là vui luôn. So mean the word to somebody, so có ý nghĩa lớn lao với ai đó. Okay. Okay, the next topic, indoor games. Do you play any indoor games? Not much, but I guess something I still play from time to time is Monopoly, but it's very popular board game. It's originated in America, I think, and it's really starting to pick up in Vietnam. Okay, so do you prefer to play indoor games or outdoor games? Well, I kind of gravitate towards outdoor games. I'm quite an athletic person, so I love engaging in physical activity and sports. Indoor games are fun too, but it's not always my favorite. What indoor game did you play when you were a child? Well, when I was born, I didn't really play any games inside the house besides video games. However, every now and then I would go and watch my dad play ping pong, which is technically an indoor sport, right? I think it's loads of fun. What sort of indoor games do children play now? Video games mostly. I mean, children can play game on their game console for hours on end. I think it's really detrimental to their health, and their parents definitely should wean them off this habit, lest their eyesight get worse. Okay. Yep. Vocabulary highlights from time to time, thỉnh thoảng. Originate bắt nguồn từ pick up, bắt đầu nổi. Gravitate towards, thiên về. Athletic, thực khỏe mạnh, thích thể thao. Physical activities, hoạt động thể chất. 4 hours on end, hàng giờ liền. Detrimental, có hại. Win somebody off something, bắt hoặc là giúp ai đó bỏ một cái thói quen hiện tại. Win somebody off something, ok. List, nếu không thì ok. Okay, next topic, marriage. If you are 30 years old without marriage, so do you still wait for the true love? If I'm still single by the time I turn 35, so I still wait for the other half, because getting married to someone you do not love is miserable. You may end up parting ways and getting a divorce. On the other hand, for those who still decide not to wait, so it's completely justifiable. Some people just cannot stand being alone. Who will pay for the wedding cost? Men or women or both? Actually, neither. The parents are the ones who finance the wedding. It is kind of the norm in Vietnam. Most young couples are still trying to make ends meet, so they cannot possibly afford the prohibited cost of wedding. What do you think is the best age to marry? Well, it's kind of depends. Some people think the optimal age to marry is mid-20s because they try to avoid a generation gap between them and their parents. On the other hand, there are those who want to tie the knot when they are a bit older because they prioritize their career, parental duties make it hard to earn a living. Do you think Vietnamese wedding wastes a lot of money? Definitely. Vietnamese people love lavish wedding. They are willing to splurge on decoration, food service, invitations in order to show the guests their wealth and status. Do you think men should take care of babies and wash the dishes? Our traditional Vietnamese thinking dictates that women are in charge of chores and child rearing. However, nowadays the responsibilities are shared between spouses because gender equality is a champion in most countries. So men now also have to do domestic tasks, and women also have bring home the bacon. Bring home the bacon. Vocabulary highlight. So the other half, một nửa còn lại. Miserable, khốn khổ. Pathways, đường ai nấy đi. Get a divorce, ly dị. Justifiable, có thể hiểu được. Finance, chi trả cho cái gì đó. Động từ make ends meet, là trang trải cuộc sống. Prohibitive cost, là chi phí đắt đỏ. The generation gaps, là khoảng cách thế hệ. Tie the knot, là cưới. Parental duty, là trách nhiệm của phụ huynh. And lavish, là sang chảnh. Ok, just blur on, vung tiền một cái gì đó. Traditional Vietnam thinking dictates that. Traditional Vietnamese thinking dictates that. Suy nghĩ truyền thống Việt quy định rằng spouse, vợ hoặc chồng, champion là đề cao cái gì đó. Bring home the bacon, kiếm tiền, thu nhập cho gia đình. Ok. Ok, pro tip, kể cả những từ thông dụng phổ biến cũng có thể biến thành nguy hiểm nếu mà bạn dùng cái dạng không phổ biến của nó. For example là finance là danh từ tài chính mong, thì mình có finance động từ nghĩa là trả tiền. Regularly là adverb là trạng từ nói về thường xuyên, thì mình cũng có thể nói là a regular là khách quen. I'm a regular of that restaurant. Okay. Frequently là adverb là thường xuyên, nhưng mình cũng có thể dùng là frequent như mang như là loại từ là động từ là hay tới lui đâu đó. Ok chưa? Okay. Continue. Topic. Music. Okay, so the first question, do you like listening to music? Absolutely, I love music. It's a great way to unwind and alleviate stress. My favorite performer is Tung MTP, which is a prominent pop singer in Vietnam. He's all rage. He's all the rage right now in Vietnam, especially among teenagers, youngsters. Yep. What type of bags do you like? Well, my favorite genre is pop. Pop music is quite catchy and the lyrics are simple. Some people may find that a bit too mainstream and prefer something like jazz. They usually listen to music. Well, I listen to music pretty much everywhere. When I'm at home, I stream music on the website. Sometimes, if I'm feeling up to it, I might go to a concert. MP3 can really compare to the incredible atmospheres and sound effects at live shows. And of course, I also put on my favorite songs when I'm on the move to make my commute a bit less boring. So, can you play any music instruments? Actually, I play the guitar, but only a novice. In the future, I will try to play more often to hone my skills. I'm really inspired by the great guitar virtuosos, and I hope that one day I can play a shay as well as they do. Okay. Vocabulary highlights, unwind là thư giãn, prominent nổi tiếng, on the rage. Đúng không? She is all rage right now in Vietnam. Genre là thể loại catchy là nghe bắt tai, mainstream đại trà, stream là tải nhạc phim ở trên mạng, on the move. Đang di chuyển trên đường, novice là gà ha, tập sự ha, hone my skill, cải thiện kỹ năng, virtuoso, bậc thầy. Không biết là đọc có đúng không nữa, các bạn tự tra từ điển nha. Okay. So the next topics are watches. So did you wear a watch when you were a child? Actually, yes. I used to wear a digital watch when I was in primary school. I took a lot of pride in having it and often brag around in front of my friends. So, do you like to wear a watch now? Yeah, I'm a big fan of wearing a watch. I think it's a wonderful way to lend some visual interest to your outfit. The one I'm wearing right now is by Daniel Wellington, a well-known watch brand. Their designs are very nice and their products reasonably priced as well. So why do people like to wear expensive watches? I think high-end watches are a symbol of status, As people get rich, they want to wear things that protect their wealth and success, and wearing an expensive timepiece is an easy way to do it. Okay. So have you ever received a watch as a gift? As a matter of fact, yes, my dad gave me a wristwatch as a graduation gift. It's a really nice minimalistic watch with a black dial and a leather strap. As an item that I really treasure, I'm thinking of passing this watch down to my son when he's old enough. Vocabulary highlights, digital watch là đồng hồ điện tử, brag about something là khoe khoang, lend some visual interest to something, tạo điểm nhấn cho cái gì đó ha. Okay, so such piece of decoration really lends some visual interest to my house. Okay, reasonably priced, giá cả hợp lý, high and cao cấp, a symbol of status. Biểu tượng của đẳng cấp, project was and successful, trương cái sự giàu có và thành công. Timepiece là đồng hồ, minimalistic đơn giản, dial mặt đồng hồ, and strap là dây đeo đồng hồ. Okay. Pro tips, khi học từ thì đặc biệt là các cái từ dễ thì nên nghiên cứu về các cái dạng khác của từ để tìm ra cái cách diễn đạt chất và không quá đại trà. Ví dụ như là từ interesting có thể được diễn đạt như 4 cách ha, 4 cách sau. So that book is very interesting. as an interesting as an adjective. So I'm very interested in that book, cũng là adjective. So that book really interests me, là verb, động từ. And I take a very keen interest in that book. Thì lúc đó interest trở thành danh từ. Ok chưa? Okay, so next topic, bags. Do you like bags? I gotta say that I'm a big fan of bags. I know people think bags are kind of a feminine thing, but I quite like it. I have a pretty big collection of bags already, but I can't seem to resist the urge to splurge on a new bag whenever I'm feeling flush. What types of bags do you like? One of my perennial favorite style, hoặc là one of my all-time favorite style is the backpack. It's such a versatile and utilitarian design. I mean, it's easy to carry around and it's got lots of space for my stuff. Besides, it matches well with most of my outfits from formal to casual wear. Okay, so what do you put in your bag? A boatload of stuff, mainly my essentials such as my laptop, keys, and wallets. It's nice to have a roomy bag to stop all of my things and when I'm on the move. Do people collect bags? Well, it kind of depends. Some people go crazy about bags and have different ones for different occasions. For example, my friend has a clutch there that she carries to formal events and a backpack for daily use. But for contrast, there are guys who want an on-purpose bag because they don't want to fuss over what to wear. Okay? Vocabulary, highlights, feminine, nữ tính, resist the urge, cưỡng lại cái ham muốn, splurge on, vung tiền một cái gì đó, feeling blush, dư dả. All time favorite hoặc là perennial favorite, một cái thứ mà mình thích từ trước tới giờ luôn, versatile, đa năng, utilitarian, nhiều công dụng, a boatload of, rất nhiều, roomy, rộng rãi, nhiều chỗ trống, stuff và nhét vào, on the move, đang di chuyển trên đường, go crazy about là phát cuồng về cái gì đó, clutch là ví to cho phụ nữ, all purpose là nhiều công dụng, and first over what to wear, đắn đo xem mặc cái gì. Có những cách diễn đạt mà informal gắn với crazy rất là dễ học ha. Crazy expensive rất đắt, go crazy about là phát cuồng về cái gì đó, and drive somebody crazy làm cho ai đó tức điên lên. Okay. Okay, so next topic. Sunshine. Okay. So the first question. How to use energy from sunshine in your country? So the primary way in which Vietnamese people use solar energy is to power heaters. I think that is a very economical practice, unlike fossil fuels, which can cost a lot of money. So do you like to live in a place where there's a lot of sunshine? Definitely, I love to bask in the sun. So I would like to reside somewhere with a lot of sunshine. For example, Da Nang, which is a coastal city located in the central Vietnam, would be somewhere I want to move to. The city is quite sunny year-round and it's not sweltering, unlike Saigon where the weather is baking. What activities do you usually do on a sunny day? So one of my favorite things to do when the sun is out is taking a trip to a nice secluded beach and spending the day there. You could bask in the sun, go for a dip, or just a hell of a picnic. I usually go to a beach with my buddy, and there's always a blast. Vocabulary highlights, economical, tiết kiệm, power, cung cấp điện, fossil fuel là năng lượng hóa thạch. Bask in the sun, tận hưởng ánh nắng mặt trời. Reside in some in like a certain city, và sống cư trú ở một cái thành phố nào đó ha. Coastal city, thành phố biển. Sweltering, rất nóng. Baking, rất nóng. Secluded, đi xa khỏi thành phố. Go for a dip, đi bơi, or a splash, rất là vui. Okay. So next topic, fashion. What type of clothes do you like wearing? Well, it also depends. So when I go to work, I usually try to look sharp because I work in a formal environment, so that often means a suit and tie. But by contrast, if I'm just hanging out with my friends or taking a leisurely stroll, so you're more likely to find me in casual outfits, a well-worn pair of jeans or t-shirt and some sneakers. So where you buy your clothes, again, it really depends. If I'm feeling flush, I might go to and splurge on some designer clothes. On the other hand, if I don't have a lot of money, so I might shop a flea market. You can score some great deals there and buy tons of clothes without breaking the bank. Did you wear a school uniform when you were younger? Yeah, absolutely. Wearing uniform is kind of the norm in Vietnam. Students often dress in a plain white button-up shirt and a pair of navy slacks. And the shirt has to be tucked in. The look is quite sedate. And I gotta say I liked it because I didn't have to stand in front of the mirror fussing around what to wear in school. So vocabulary highlight, look sharp, trông tĩnh tề, well worn, mặc nhiều, trông hơi cũ, feel plush, có nhiều xiềng, splurge on something, xong vung tiền một cái gì đó, so score some great deal, mua được đồ tốt giá rẻ ha, score some great deals, not break the bank, không tốn nhiều tiền, the norm, là chuyện thường tình, sedate, thoải mái, không cầu kỳ, fuss over, chăm chút quá mức. Nào pro tips, nếu mà câu hỏi á, nó có hơi rộng và có nhiều cái lựa chọn thì hãy bắt đầu và hãy trả lời bằng là it depends. Vì chi trường hợp và dùng câu điều kiện sẽ giúp cho bạn nâng được cái điểm ngữ pháp đáng kể. How what kind of food do you like? So it really depends on the situation. Where do you listen to music? Cũng vậy luôn ha. Yeah. Okay, so next topic, places near water. Why do so many people like going to places with water, such as lakes, oceans, or rivers? Well, I guess it's because these places are often nice and secluded. Nowadays life is very hectic, and sometimes we just need to get away from it all and unwind somewhere away from the hustle and bustle of the city. Okay, so what kind of activities do people like to do there? All kinds of things, really. The most popular activities, obviously, is swimming. It's nice to go for a dip and immerse yourself in the water. People also love basking in the sun and get tan, especially ladies. Do you think seaside is more suitable for our children or old people? Well, that's a tough question because both can enjoy the beach. However, if children are playing on the beach, so their parents definitely need to keep an eye on them. By contrast, the elderly, for the most part, can take care of themselves. So, do you think government should invest money in developing facilities for water sports? Nah, I don't think so. It is companies who own seaside resorts that should pour monies into recreational facilities, like water sports, since it is of interest to them. State budget should be used to address more urgent needs, like education and healthcare, for example. Vocabulary highlights secluded, tránh xa ra khỏi thành thị, đúng không? Get away from it all, đi nghỉ ở nơi nào đó xa, unwind là thư giãn, ok, hustle and bustle, sự hối hả, go for a dip, đi tắm, nhanh ha, immerse yourself in, đắm chìm vào một cái gì đó, bask, in the sun, tận hưởng ánh nắng, keep an eye on, để ý theo dõi ai đó, seaside resorts là resort ở bên bờ biển, recreational facilities, cơ sở giải trí, state budget, ngân quỹ nhà nước. Okay. Yeah. Now we move to the next topics, visitors. So, do you welcome guests in your home? Yeah. I love to have people over and then entertain them. I have a couple of friends whom I always invite to my home for dinner or a movie. I love taking care of people and showing them hospitality. So, do you like to visit other homes? Absolutely. When I visit other people's houses, so I take my clue for the designs of my own home. I take my cue for the design of my own house from them. For example, I just visited my friend Zoe an interior design last week and absolutely loved the Scandinavian vibe of his apartment. So, what do visitors usually do in your home? A bunch of things, really. There's a lot of wining and dining. My wife loves to cook. So whenever we have friends over, so she would put out a lot of dishes. Her cooking is absolutely phenomenal, and we just eat till we stop. After that, maybe we'll put on a movie and just chill. Okay. So do you usually hang out with your friends at home? So outside, I would say 50-50. I mean, we love having people over at our house, as I was saying. So there are a real sense of intimacy in spending time with your friends at home. But sometimes all of us don't want to bother with the hassle of cleaning up. So we just go for a dinner at our favorite restaurant. Okay, vocabulary highlights, have people over, mời người khác qua nhà, entertain ai đó, chiêu đãi khách, ha, hospitality, xử lý khách. Take somebody's cue from something or somebody là lấy cảm hứng từ ai đó. Take somebody cue from something or somebody. Okay. Wine and dine, chiêu đãi, ăn uống, phenomenal, tuyệt đỉnh. Okay, stopped là no căng, chill, thư giãn, a sense of intimacy, cảm giác thân mật, and the hustle of something, sự phiền hà của cái gì đó. Okay. Next topic, sports. Do you like playing sport? Well, I consider myself a pretty athletic person, so naturally I have affinity for all sporting activities. So my favorite sport of all time is football. In football, not only it is fun to play, it's also loads of fun to watch. Okay, so what sports are the most popular in your country? I guess football. It's kind of a big deal in Vietnam. I mean, it's the most popular spectator sport, right? When it is football seasons like August. For example, when the Premier League takes place, football fanatics usually go to watch the matches at a cafe and root for their favorite team. So do you think it's important to play a sport? Absolutely. I think playing sport is a fantastic way to get lean because it involves a lot of physical activities. Nowadays, most people lead a sedentary lifestyle and tend to shy away from the gym. For these people, I believe sport would be an energizing way to get more exercise. So what sport would you like to try in the future? I would love to have a crack at skydiving in the future. Free falling from enormous altitude look like a lot of fun as much as I'm scared of height. A while back, I almost gave bungee jump a go, but in the end, I kind of chickened out. Vocabulary highlights, athletic, năng động miêu thể thao, have an affinity for, thích cái gì đó, big deal, cái quan trọng ha. Spectator sport là môn thể thao có nhiều người xem. Fanatic là fan cuồng, mình có một cái nữa là hard die fan, die hard fan, yes, là kiểu giống như nó là synonym của fanatic. Ok, get lean là tập tành để có cơ thể cân đối hơn. Lead a sedentary lifestyle, sống một cái lối sống mà nó thụ động, nó ít có cái sự vận động. How shy away from, tránh cái gì đó. Energizing là tràn đầy năng lượng. Have a crack, ok, là thử cái gì đó, đúng không? Free fall là rơi tự do. Give something a go, thử cái gì đó. And chicken out, nhát quá không thể làm cái gì đó. Ok. So next topic, so colors. What is your favorite color? Well, I'm a real sucker for all things blue. I love all shades of blue. So from the brighter shades like electric blue to the more subdued ones like navy. In fact, the bulk of my wardrobe is blue. Are there any colors you dislike? I have to say that when people wear overly bright colors like neon, for example, it bugs me a lot. I think those people have terrible taste in clothes. So when you are buying clothes, so the colors important to you. Absolutely. When I'm shopping for clothes, I have to be mindful of the colors of the garment and whether it would match well with the rest of my wardrobe. Of course, I don't think I can ever go wrong with blue. Are there any colors that have a special meaning in your country? Yes, I guess. I mean, white usually symbolizes purity and innocence, so it's a colors of choice for weddings or school uniforms. By contrast, darker colors like gray or black often suggest sorrow or suffering. So I guess that's why a lot of people wear black to funerals. Vocabulary highlights a real sucker for thích mê cái gì đó. Okay, have an affinity for something. Shade là trong màu, subdue là màu tối, bright color and subdued colors. The bunch of là phần lớn cái gì đó. The overly bright, quá là chói luôn. But somebody làm phiền ở đó, have terrible taste là có gu kém ha, không có gu gì đó không. Okay, and be mindful of là để ý cái gì đó. Garment, garment là một cái đồ quần áo gì đó. How much well là kết hợp tốt với nhau. Okay, so can ever go wrong with A. A không bao giờ là sự lựa chọn sai lầm hết. Purity là sự tinh khôi. Innocence là sự trong trắng. Color of choice là màu yêu thích. Pro tips of choice là một cái cách diễn đạt mà thay cho cái chuyện là I like, khi mà cái gì đó là of choice của bạn, nó là thứ bạn thích và bạn muốn chọn. For example, Oasis is my snack of choice. Honda is my photo buy of choice. And blue is my color of choice. Okay. Next topic, bringing things. Bringing things, okay? So what will you bring when you go out? Well, there are certainly some items that I would consider essential whenever I go out. For example, the pair of headphones to listening to music when I'm on the move. This really makes my daily commute less boring. Okay. Did you ever forget to bring things? Well, I gotta admit, I'm quite a forgetful person. So there have certainly been times when I've left the house without my case, my phone, or even worse, my wallet. It's really a nuisance finding out that you have no cash on hand when you want to pay for like a coffee or something. Will you bring different things in the daytime or at night? I guess I do bring different items at different times of day. Like, for example, in the morning. So when it's really sunny, a pair of shades might comes in handy. So I always bring that. By contrast, at night when it can get a bit cold, so it's quite useful to have a light jacket to brace yourself against the chill. Okay, vocabulary highlights essential, đồ thiết yếu, on the move, đang di chuyển, daily commute. Cái việc mà di chuyển hàng ngày đó ha. Okay, so a forgetful person là người đãng trí. It's really a nuisance. Đúng là một cái việc phiền phức. It's really a nuisance. Okay, on hand là cái gì đó trên người sẵn dùng. A pair of shades, kính râm đó. Okay, nghe ngầu hơn là a pair of sunglasses, a pair of shades. Okay, come in handy là hữu dụng có ích. Brace yourself against the chill. Chống lại, brace yourself against the chill, chống lại cái lạnh ha. Pro tips là nên chèn nhiều cái trạng từ khi nói, chúng sẽ làm cho câu của bạn tự nhiên hơn rất nhiều. Ví dụ ha, there are certainly some items. It's really a nuisance. It can get a bit cold. It's quite useful. Nhớ nhấn vào trạng từ nha. Okay. Next topic, history. Do you like history? Well, I take a very keen interest in history. I find learning about historical events and historical figures really fascinating. Word history is pretty cool, but I'm more interested in Vietnamese history. I love learning about the rich heritage of Vietnam, our past struggles against foreign colonizations, and how peace was established in the country. What historical event do you find most interesting? Well, for me, the Declaration of Independence is definitely one of the biggest milestones in Vietnam history. On September the 2nd, like 1945, President Ho Chi Minh declared to the world that Vietnam officially became a sovereign state after years of being invaded. Do you think history is important? Without doubt. So history plays an integral part in any society. It instills in people a sense of patriotism and an appreciation for peace and order. Without history, so we cannot possibly learn about our past failures. Do you like to watch programs on TV about history? Absolutely. I find them much more interesting than learning about history from, say, textbooks. History documentary provide a much more vivid portrayal of historical events, especially battles and wars. Okay, so how do you get information about history? I gotta say the internet is my go-to source of historical facts and figures. I also love visiting museums where I can peruse their collection of exhibits. I think it's very involved experience of learning about history. Vocabulary highlights take a very keen interest in, quan tâm hứng thú với một cái lĩnh vực nào đó. Historical event là sự kiện lịch sử, historical figures là nhân vật lịch sử, rich heritage là một cái di sản rất là màu sắc giàu có ha, phong phú đó ha. Colonization là công cuộc thuộc địa hóa, milestones là cột mốc, sovereign state nước tự trị, plays an integral part đóng vai trò quan trọng, instill là làm thấm nhuần, patriotism lòng yêu nước, peace and order hòa bình và trật tự. Say ví dụ vivid, portrayal là sự mô phỏng sống động, go to là yêu thích, produce a collection xem kỹ một cái bộ sưu tập gì đó, involved experience là trải nghiệm rất là thực tế. Okay, so next topic, birds. Do you like birds? Well, I take a very keen interest in nature, so I love to learn about different species of plants, animals, and yes, birds. They are truly fascinating creatures, and they come in all shapes and sizes. Birds watching is one of my favorite things to do. So, have you seen many kinds of birds? Well, living in the city, so birds are a rare sight. Most of the stuff about birds that I've seen is on documentary of the great outdoor. I mean, I've seen some common birds in real life, like pigeons and such, but nothing too exotic. Okay, so how do Vietnamese people feel about birds? Well, for the most part, Vietnamese people are not that into birds. I mean, we like to eat. Oh my god, we like to eat them, especially game birds like peasants. People in remote areas often hunt for birds in the wild and roast them over an open fire. They are considered a delicacy where I come from. Okay, vocabulary highlight, take a keen interest in something, đam mê một cái gì đó, thay cho to be interested in species là bằng cái breed là loài động vật, terminal shapes and size là đa dạng về chủng loại, bird watching là ngắm chim, a rare sight một cái thứ ít thấy đúng không? A great outdoors nơi xa xôi cách thành phố, exotic là quý hiếm, game birds là chim để đi săn, delicacy là đặc sản. Pro tips ở đây là nếu bạn gặp một cái topic lạ, hãy đá về những cái topic liên quan mà bạn quen hơn. Ví dụ như khi bạn nói về birds mà bạn không thật sự là quen lắm thì bạn có thể đá về nature, species. Nếu mà hoặc là bạn có thể đá về to bird mà đá về food, ví dụ cooking and eating birds. I know that sound cringe. Okay. Shopping. Okay, topic shopping. Are there many shops near your house? Well, there's an eclectic mix of shops in the vicinity of my house. There are lots of high-end boutiques selling designer clothes. In addition, there are also an abundance of street food stalls and grocery store. So you really have everything in one place. So do you like shopping? Absolutely. My work is incredibly stressful, so every now and then I really need some retail therapy. And on payday, I usually hit the mall and treat myself to something nice, maybe a new shirt or a nice pair of shoes. So who does shopping in your house? Well, my dad is the breadwinner, but it's actually my mom who is in charge of finances and purchases. So every morning she goes to the market to buy groceries and, our daily supplies. How often do you buy something in a shop? Well, given the fact that online shopping is really popular right now, I find myself shopping more on the internet, but every now and then I still go to a brick and mortar store where I can peruse the store offerings in person. If I'm shopping for clothes, I'm going to a store is always a must. So I want to try on the clothes to see if they fit or flatter my body. Vocabulary high-rise, an eclectic mix of rất nhiều chủng loại gì đó ha. In the vicinity of là ở gần, high-end boutiques, những cái quần áo phụ kiện sang chảnh, designer clothes là quần áo hàng hiệu, an abundant of rất nhiều, food store là các cái quầy bán đồ ăn, grocery store, hàng tạp hóa, retail, therapy là mua sắm để xả stress. Đây là ngày lãnh lương, hit the mall, đến cái trung tâm thương mại chơi, treat myself too, tự thưởng cho mình cái gì đó. Breadwinner là trụ cột gia đình, daily supplies, tiêu dùng hàng ngày, brick and mortar, cửa hàng qua đời thật, ngược lại với online đó ha. Hoặc là in other words we can say là physical store. Okay. Và tiếp theo nào, handwriting topic. Do you usually write by hand? No, not really anymore. These days, I find myself typing a lot on computers and texting on my phone, so I rarely use paper and a pen anymore. That said, I still have to jot down notes in class because laptops are not allowed. So, I think it's a pen, really. Do you think handwriting will be replaced by computer? Well, in this day and age, modern technologies have largely marginalized handwriting, and you don't see people writing by hand as much as they did in the past. However, I still think something needs to be handwritten. For example, you should always handwrite a wedding invitation to show respect to the guests. Is it still necessary to keep handwriting? Definitely. I think it's important to teach young kids to handwrite. I think handwriting exercises really do wonder for their cognitive development. For example, my brother, who has really beautiful handwriting, is a brilliant kid. What's impression the person handwritings have on other people? I think in Vietnam, handwritings can speak volumes about somebody's personality. For example, if you have neat handwriting, so people tend to think that you are a good-hearted person. On the other hand, if your writing is unintelligible, so they may think badly of you. So it's quite an antiquated way of thinking, I guess. Okay, so build vocabulary hotline, text là nhắn tin, jot down là viết ngoáy, as a pen, đó là một cái việc rất là phiền. Okay, it's really a nuisance. So là in this day and age, vào thời buổi này, marginalize làm cho kém quan trọng hơn, do wonders for something, có lợi cho cái gì đó. Speak volumes about something là nói nhiều về ai đó. Neat handwriting là chữ viết rất là gọn gàng, dễ đọc. Good-hearted là tốt bụng. Unintelligible là khó đọc. And antiquated là lỗi thời, cổ hủ. It's quite an antiquated way of thinking, I guess. Khi giám khảo hỏi về các cái câu hỏi yes no questions, so các bạn không nhất thiết phải trả lời bắt đầu bằng yes or no. Các cái cách trả lời khác nghe tự nhiên hơn, ví dụ như là definitely, oh why not, not really, I'm not so sure about that. Okay, so next topic, jewelry. Okay, so do you like jewelry? Yes, jewelry is kind of a feminine thing, ladies love to wear lots of blings as a way to lending some visual interest to their outfits. As a man though, I'm not really into jewelry. What jewelry do you have? Well, as I was saying, I'm not a big fan of jewelry, but I guess a piece of jewelry that I do own is a pair of cufflinks. I usually wear it on my shirt cuffs to formal events when I want to look a bit fancy and dressed up. What do people do to protect their jewelry? Well, most people would put their bracelets, necklace, and other piece of jewelry in a jewelry box, of course. Some people do go an extra mile and buy a safe just to store their jewelry. I guess this makes sense because some items can cost a fortune, like a diamond pendant, for example. Okay, now vocabulary hotlines, a feminine thing, một cái gì đó mà kiểu như dành cho phụ nữ á ha, nó mang tính nữ tính á. Bling, đồ lấp lánh. Blending some visual interest to something, làm cho như kiểu là làm cho cái gì đó mà nó thú vị hơn. Yeah. Cufflinks là măng xét áo sơ mi đeo ở cổ tay áo. Fancy, sang chảnh. Go an extra mile, làm nhiều hơn mức cần thiết. Save là cái két, cái cost of fortune là kiểu tốn nhiều tiền. offerings là sản phẩm của một công ty nào đó bày bán cung cấp. A must, một cái việc phải làm. Flatter my body là tôn dáng. Okay. Now we come to topic shoes. Okay, so do you like shoes? To be honest, I'm not much of a shoe enthusiast. Some of my friends are crazy about shoes though. They love to read about footwear from books, blogs, etc. Are people willing to buy expensive shoes? I think so, yes. Some people are really loaded and willing to splurge on nice shoes. But at the same time, there are those who are quite frugal, like myself, who would typically shy away from the big brands because of their stratospheric prices. What do you prefer, comfortable shoes or fashionable shoes? I definitely value comfort over looks. I mean, I do a lot of walking and wearing shoes that are too snug, for example, would blister my feet. So I often wear a really comfy shoe like sneakers, for example. Do you buy shoes from online shop? From time to time, yes, but I always go to brick and mortar store and try on the shoes in person. I mean, my fits are pretty weird, so I might wear different sizes for different brands. Yes. Vocabulary highlight shoe enthusiast. Người đam mê giày loaded lắm tiền. Splurge on something, vung tiền vào cái gì đó. Frugal là tiết kiệm. Chắc bóp ha. Shy away from là tránh cái gì đó. Stratospheric prices, giá trên trời ha. Stratospheric prices, giá trên trời. Snug là kiểu bó sát chật. Blister, sưng lên làm bị sưng. Comfy là comfortable, and a brick and mortar store, cửa hàng ngoài đời đối lập với lại cửa hàng online. Ok, tiền nong là một cái vấn đề, một cái chủ đề hữu dụng thì nên thành thạo ha. Đa phần các cái topic khó đều có thể đá về tiền nong, ví dụ như là are you willing to buy expensive shoes? Các từ vựng về tiền ví dụ như là loaded, splurge on, frugal, stratospheric prices. Fruits. You usually eat fruits and vegetables every day. Absolutely, fruit and veggies are an indispensable part of my life. I always carry a bag of dry fruits to snack on when I've got the munchies. And for lunch, I usually opt for some kind of salad. That's quite a healthy eating habit, I would say. So what kind of fruit do you enjoy the most? I gotta say, mango is my all-time favorite. Ripe mangoes are so sweet and soft. They are practically melt in your mouth, and you can do a bunch of things with mangoes too. You know, you can eat them, you can juice them, and unripe mangoes make a mean salad. So, do you enjoy the same type of fruit when you were a child? I guess when I was a child, I tended to prefer fruits that are sweet, soft, and as few seeds as possible. So, you know things like mango, bananas, and pomelo. I also loved and still do smoothie and fruity drinks. Okay, so do you prefer to eat fruits or vegetables? I don't really have a preference, but I guess fruit is easier to eat. Even the more citric fruits like oranges and lemons are pretty easy to eat. Now, some vegetables can be quite hard to eat as they have a bitter and earthy taste. Vocabulary headlines, veggie, rau cỏ, indispensable, không thể thiếu. Snack on something là ăn nhẹ. I've got the munchies, đói bụng. I've got the munchies, đói bụng. One time favorite là từ trước đến nay lúc nào cũng thích bằng với lại perennial favorite. Okay, ripe là chín ha, melt in your mouth. Tan chảy trong miệng. Unripe là chưa chín, còn xanh. Bean là rất tốt, rất ngon. Okay. Seed là hạt, smoothie là sinh tố, fruity là có vị hoa quả. I don't really have the preference. Chả thích cái nào hơn cái nào. I don't really have any preference. I don't really have a preference. Citric là có vị chua. Okay. Next topic, dreams. So do you remember your dream when you wake up? No, Not really. I mean, when I wake up, I often have no recollection of what happened in my dreams. I just remember disconnected fragments of a dream which don't really make any sense. Do you like hearing other dreams? Yes, I guess a lot of people are haunted by their dreams and they really just need someone to talk about it. Some are scared out of their mind if they have nightmares. So, do you think dreams will affect life? Yes, to a certain extent. I think some people are really affected by what they see in their dreams. If they see death or suffering, for example, they might interpret it as an omen. And they often take some precautions, like being extra careful on the road. So, yeah, I guess dreams do influence our behaviors. So, do you want to learn more about dreams? Well, that is not an area that I take a keen interest in, so I gotta say no. I'm sure dreams can reveal truly fascinating things about our brains and our cognition, but to be honest, I'm more of an art person, so I prefer to learn about music and culture rather than films. Mm, okay, vocabulary headlines have no recollection, không có còn ký ức gì, disconnected fragments, các cái mảnh ghép rời rạc. Do not make sense, không có ý nghĩa gì. Be haunted by, bị ám ảnh bởi cái gì đó. Scare out of their mind, sợ chết khiếp. An omen là điểm xấu. Pro tip với những câu hỏi về các cái topic lạ thì các bạn có thể trả lời thật là mình không có hứng thú hoặc là nói sang cái topic khác luôn. Ví dụ ha, so do you want to learn more about dream? Well, it's not the area that I take a keen interest in. I'm more of an art person, so I prefer to learn about music or culture than dreams. Okay. Okay, next topics of flowers. Do you like flowers? Well, flowers are kind of a feminine thing, so I don't really like them. My mom is very fond of them though. Every now and then, so my mom goes to the market to buy fresh cut flowers and arrange them in a vase in our living room. Do you think flowers are important? I guess. It's a kind of a gift of choice on special occasion, especially for the ladies. Uh, bouquet of flowers on Valentine's Days, for example, can make any girl's day. So, I also think flowers are a wonderfully useful decorative items. A flower vase can be a nice touch to a living room or bedroom. So, what are the occasion where people give or receive flowers? Well, in Vietnam, people give flowers on a number of different occasions. For example, on Teacher Day, students often give their teachers a bouquet of or a basket of flowers as a token of appreciation and gratitude. Valentine's Day is another occasion where you can also see an abundance of florists selling flowers arrangement on the streets of Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh. So it is very popular gift. So do flowers have special meaning in your culture? Yeah, I think so. For example, lotus is considered Vietnam national flower. It is such a beautiful flower and it symbolizes the purity and innocence. Lotus is also the logo of the biggest commercial airline in Vietnam, Vietnam Airlines. So you can spot a giant lotus on every single one of their aircrafts. Vocabulary highlights. A feminine thing, một cái thứ nữ tính every now and then, thi thoảng. Bouquet of flowers, một bó hoa, make somebody day. Làm ai đó vui. A token of, một cái biểu tượng gì đó. Abundant of, an abundant of. Có rất nhiều ha. Of thì có mùi giống như là đất á. Những cái nói về những cái sản phẩm mà được trồng ở dưới đất ha. Okay, so next topic, chocolate. What's your favorite flavor? I gotta go with dark chocolate. I find milk chocolate too rich for my taste. By contrast, the dark variety has a nice balance between the richness and bitterness. How often do you eat chocolate? Not too often, as you can probably guess. Chocolate is not really a staple food. It's a kind of treat on special occasion. For example, a box of chocolates, truffles, makes for a wonderful present on Valentine's Day. Is chocolate popular in your country? Absolutely. People in Vietnam are crazy about chocolate and sugary products in general. In supermarkets, so you can find thousands of brands selling chocolate bars. Do you think people use chocolate differently now than in the past? Well, I guess we do consume chocolate in vastly different ways compared to the past. I mean, before we just ate them, but nowadays chocolate is incorporated into a number of foods and drinks. For example, chocolate desserts or chocolate flavored bubble tea are all the rage in Vietnam right now. Vocabulary highlights: rich, ngậy, a stable food, đồ ăn cơ bản ha, phổ biến. A treat là một cái đồ hiếm khi ăn dùng bởi vì đắt. Sugary products là đồ dùng hay là uống có đường. Chocolate bars là thanh chocolate, be incorporated into, kết hợp với lại vào cái gì đó. Chocolate là có vị hay là có mùi sô cô la. Chocolate flavored là cũng tương tự như vậy luôn, có vị chocolate. And all the rage, you know, chocolate flavor bubble tea is all rage. Is all the rage in Vietnam right now. All the rage, phổ biến hot. Ok, pro tiếp nào. Một cái phương pháp hữu hiệu để vừa ghi điểm fluency vừa ghi điểm pronunciation là phát âm thật rõ cái âm ed ở cuối, và khi nói nhanh thì rất khó để phát âm ed, cho nên bạn cần phải lậm chậm lại một chút và bật thật rõ. Quy tắc bật âm ed sau là it, đúng không? Ed it với những ending sau t and d. Có một cách mẹo để nhớ đó là tiền đô td tiền đô. Ok, thì mình sẽ đọc là thịt được chưa? Để phát âm là âm t với những ending sau là k, h, g, sh, j, sh, s. Ok, and d với những ending sau còn lại ha, l, n, r, g, v, z, m. Extra pro tip: bạn không cần phải suy nghĩ quá nhiều về ending sau, vì việc này có thể khiến bạn nói chậm hơn. Nhưng mà theo đó thì bạn cứ nghĩ là nói âm ịch với tất cả những âm tờ đờ và nói âm tờ với các âm khác, và nếu mà bạn đọc đầy đủ âm thì nó sẽ tự ra là tờ hoặc là đờ. Okay, so it seems like everything I've just gone through from this book. Ooh. 10 more topics. Okay, so next topic, boats. In your country, so do people use boats? Well, people usually use boats quite a lot in Vietnam, mostly for commercial purposes. In the southern provinces of Vietnam, so you can see a lot of floating markets when vendors battle their goods from their boats. So there are also quite a few port cities across Vietnam, so that's where a lot of trading activities take place. I wouldn't say many Vietnamese families own pleasure crafts, though. I guess it's just not our thing. Would you like to own a boat? A boat seemed like a luxury item that wealthy people would splurge on at one point, but I don't think owning a boat in Vietnam would be practical. I mean, I live in Hanoi, where there's no place for my boat to dock. Unless I move somewhere near the sea, in which case I would love to own a yacht, you know, to go cruising every once in a while. Would you shop online or in the store for a boat? Well, if I ever buy a boat, I would certainly go to a brick and mortar store to inspect the boat I want to buy before taking the plunge. I mean, there's just no way to get a sense of what a boat actually looks like from pictures on the internet. So if you're going to spend a fortune on something like a boat, you don't want to end up with a piece of junk that doesn't suit your needs, right? Vocabulary highlights: floating market, chợ nổi. Battle là bán hàng dạo, đúng không? Okay, port city là thành phố cảng. Pleasure craft, tàu dùng cho cái mục đích giải trí thư giãn ha. Explore on something, vung tiền một cái gì đó. Dock là đậu tàu thuyền. Yacht là du thuyền. Brick and mortar store, cửa hàng ngược lại với lại online store. Take the plunge, quyết định làm gì đó sau khi đã suy nghĩ rất lâu. And spend a fortune on là tiêu tiền một cái gì đó. Okay, next topics. Advertisement. Okay, so are there many advertisements in your country? Absolutely. Advertisements have certainly proliferated in recent years. I mean, you see them pretty much everywhere on billboard, websites, TV commercial breaks, you name it. What does a nice skyline in your hometown look like? Well, I guess this can be attributed to the increasingly fierce competition between rivals companies today. You know, there are so many companies selling similar products. So, in order to draw customer attention, so they need to spend a lot of marketing, then spend a lot on marketing and advertising, I guess. Okay. What kind of advertisement do you like the most? To be honest, I'm not a big fan of advertisement to begin with. I mean, they're real nuisance. I hate it when I'm streaming videos on the internet and an advert just pop up and I can not skip them. Having said that, every once in a while I come across commercial that amuse me, you know. Usually ones with funny skit. Those I don't mind so much. Um, how do you feel about advertisement? As I was saying, for the most part, I don't care about advertising at all. But to be fair, I think it's essential to businesses. I mean, companies need to increase their brand awareness and build a customer base. So, or else nobody knows about them. For example, young startups are unlikely to get word of mouth recommendations. So, in this case, advertisements would be a good way to get their name out there. Vocabulary highlights proliferate là mọc lên như nấm ha, billboard là bảng quảng cáo trên đường tòa nhà đó ha, ok, commercial break là quảng cáo giữa giờ, you name it, là vân vân and may can be attributed to là do điều gì đó ha, fierce competition là cạnh tranh khốc liệt, nuisance là điều phiền toái, it's really a nuisance, yeah. Having said that là đành là như vậy, having said that, knit kịch hài ngắn. Not care for something, không thích cái gì đó. Brand awareness, nhận diện thương hiệu. Word of mouth, truyền miệng. Get somebody's names out there, làm cho mọi người biết đến ai đó. Okay. Now, next topic, sky. Do you like to watch the sky? That's a funny question. Obviously, in this stage and age, we have a myriad of ways to entertain ourselves that seem a lot more interesting than watching the sky, like going to the movie or drinking. But I do have to admit that there are times when I look at the sky and we're just in awe of its beauty. What does the sky nightlines in your hometown look like? Well, Hanoi doesn't have that much of a skyline to begin with. I mean, there are not a lot of high rises, yeah, so at night you wouldn't get the beautiful panoramic view of the skyline that you would otherwise get in cities like New York or Hong Kong. So hopefully one day we'll have a skyline like that, okay? Have you ever taken a course about stars? Funnily enough, I used to take astronomy when I was in college. I mean, I had to take an elective in my first year, so I decided to opt for something slightly unconventional like astronomy because why not? Anyway, I did learn a great deal about planets and constellation, though I've forgotten most of it now, but it was super fun. What's your favorite star? Wow, that's a tricky question. I'm not that familiar with name of star to begin with, but if I had to pick, I go Jupiter as technically a star, right? Anyway, the reason for that is simply because it's mentioned in the lyric to one of my favorite songs of all time, Drops of Jupiter by Tran. I probably can't tell you how much the star excels though. In this stage and age là trong thời buổi ngày nay, myriad of là có nhiều loại, ignore something là một cái điều gì đó hiếm khi dùng ăn vì đắt. Skyline là đường chân trời ha, hình thù các tòa nhà trong một thành phố. High rise là mấy cái tòa nhà cao tầng. Panoramic view là toàn cảnh. Astronomy là thiên văn học. Elective là môn tự chọn. Constellation là chòm sao. Okay, next topics. Trees. Do you like tree? Well, I'm not a tree hugger. I mean, I'm not particularly interested in nature or trees for that matter. Having said that, I do enjoy being in a place with a lot of lush trees. It just feels really refreshing and rejuvenating. Do you think places with trees attract more visitors than places with fewer trees? Well, I think it is a matter of personal preference. Obviously, places with lots of trees like nature reserves and national parks never fail to attract people who are outdoorsy type. But at the same time, there is also those like myself who would be more interested in culture and food and not pay that much attention to trees when traveling. Have you ever climbed a tree when you were a child? Oh, to be honest, I was never an energetic kid, so I don't think I really got into activities like climbing tree. Besides, I was kind of a scaredy cat, and the tree branches always look quite brittle, so I never wanted to climb up there. Okay, vocabulary highlight, tree hunger, người yêu thiên nhiên ha, tree hunger được chưa? Lush là tươi tốt, rejuvenate làm cho có gì đó có sức sống lại và khang khoái lại ha. Nature reserve là khu bảo tồn thiên nhiên, outdoorsy là cái người mà kiểu giống như là outdoorsy person là cái người mà thích ở ngoài thiên nhiên á. National park là người là vườn quốc gia, a scaredy cat, người nhát gan ha. Để mình có một cái topic mình có nói về cái chuyện là ai chicken out hả, tôi kiểu nhát nhát làm cái gì đó brittle dễ gãy ha. Okay, next topic, snacks. What kind of snack do you like to eat? Actually, I used to snack a lot, but not so much anymore. However, every once in a while, I still can't resist the urge to pick up a things or two to snack on when I'm inside a convenience store. Some of my guilty pleasures are chips and beef jerky. Is it healthy to eat snacks? For the most part, I would have to say no. Snacks are mostly junk food, which means they are heavily processed and usually contain a lot of fats. However, it also depends on the variety. For example, I see a lot of my friends who are very fit and they say that they usually snack on things like dry fruit, nuts, or protein bars because whenever they get the munchies, I suppose those are okay. What kind of snacks do children in your country like to eat nowadays? Vietnamese kids are huge on snacks, and many of the items that they like are unique to Vietnam's. For example, they like potato chips, but with flavors that you are unlikely to find in a Western grocery stores like seaweeds, for example. Talking of which, another popular but unique snacks items is seaweed seeds. Sheets, yeah, they are exactly what they sound like. Fried salty sheet of seaweed. It may sound kind of off-putting, but trust me, it's addictive. Okay, vocabulary highlights, snack on, something ăn vặt ha. Every once in a while, thỉnh thoảng resist the urge to do something, cũng lại cám dỗ để mà làm gì đó. Guilty pleasure, một cái đồ gì đó có hại cho cơ thể. Mà thỉnh thoảng thì mình vẫn dùng, ví dụ như đồ ăn, thuốc lá, cỏ cây hoa lá gì đó ha. Ok, sao chips là beef jerky là thịt bò khô, junk food là đồ ăn unhealthy, fit là khỏe mạnh, người đẹp, get the munchies là lên cân đói ha. Huge on something là rất là thích cái gì đó, off-putting là không dễ chịu, kinh tởm, addictive là gây nghiện, đánh cuốn ý. Okay. Next topics. Computer. Do you like computer? Do you use computer? Of course. I mean, who doesn't these days? For the most part, I would say that computers are indispensable in our life. Every day has one. Student, office workers, even elderly people. As soon as I enter university, so I immediately passed my parents for a laptop since I had to type papers. Yeah. What kind of activities involve using computers? All sorts of things, really. I mostly use my laptop for work, to type documents and to check mails. I also use my computer for leisure, obviously to stream videos on the internet and binge watch my favorite TV show. So pretty much everything. People today can even earn a living with their computer from Bitcoin, for example, which really goes to show how far we have come with technology. How important is your computer to you? As I was saying, so my computer is vital to me. I mean, it's really a lifesaver. I use my computer for both work and leisure. It's helps me stay connected with the people in my family and friend circles. Although smartphone today are every bit as powerful as computer, I'm always more comfortable using a computer. I guess it's just easier. What kind of computer skills do you have? Well, I'm not exactly tech savvy, but I do know a thing or two about computers, like most people who are computer literate. Obviously, I can type documents without looking at the keyboard, which is seriously something that everyone must know how to do. I also know how to tinker with some of the setting on the computer, which is kind of necessary if you use a complicated operating system like Windows. In the future, if I am a little less busy, maybe I will get around to taking a course in graphic design or video editing. Vocabulary Hotline indispensable, không thể thiếu stream movie, stream music, stream video, xem phim, xem nhạc trên mạng, binge watch, cày phim ha. Go to show, chứng minh, lifesaver, một cái thứ gì đó làm cuộc sống của mình nó dễ dàng tiện nghi hơn. Social, family, friend circle, mạng lưới, bạn bè, người quen xung quanh của mình ha. Tech savvy là cái người giỏi công nghệ. Computer literate là cái người mà kiểu như là biết dùng máy tính. Tinker with là điều chỉnh ha. Operating system là hệ điều hành. Get around to doing something là tìm được thời gian để làm cái gì đó. Get around to learning. Chẳng hạn. Okay. So next topic, time management. Okay. How do you recognize your time? Well, I'm not a very organized person to begin with, so I'm afraid I might not be the best person to answer this question. I guess when it's come to time management, so what I usually do is to write down an agenda of things to get done during the day. Now, some people do it very religiously and plan their day to a T, but I gotta admit sometimes I'm not disciplined enough to make a to-do list. So do you think it's important to be on time? Absolutely. I think being punctual is crucial. I work in a professional environment where punctuality is the norm. And what that means is that I always have to be on time for appointments if I want to present myself as a reliable person to my clients and to the people that I work with. How do you feel when you are late for an appointment? Well, as I was saying, so punctuality is very important to me. So when I show up late for an appointment, I usually feel very bad about it. If I keep someone waiting, I will definitely apologize and offer to make it up to them, especially if they are my family or someone special, like my girlfriend, for example. How do you feel when people are late? As I am a very punctual person, so I also expect others to be on time. Having said that, I have a lot of tolerance as far as being late is concerned. Usually if the person has a good excuse for being late, so I will be very willing to forgive them and not send them on a guilt trip. Vocabulary highlight, agenda, kế hoạch. Religiously rất là thường xuyên, to a T rất kỹ lưỡng chỉnh chu. A to-do list là list các cái việc cần làm, the norm là việc bình thường. Feel bad là cảm thấy có lỗi. Show up là có mặt. Made it up to somebody là bù đắp cho ai đó bởi vì mình có lỗi. Tolerance là sự rộng lượng. Và guilt trip là cảm thấy có lỗi hoặc là làm cho ai đó cảm thấy có lỗi. Next topic, museum. Are there many museums in your country? Absolutely. Like in many other countries, there's a plethora of museums in Vietnam. So there are obviously a lot of war museums. Given the fact that Vietnam has been through a number of wars in the past, so you can find a lot of interesting exhibits and artifacts in these museums and learn a great deal about our country's history. And in addition, so you can also find a handful of galleries in big cities, which house a lot of paintings and sculptures with a very distinctive Vietnamese style. Do you think museums are useful? Of course, I'm not much of a museum goer, but I do think that they are very useful, important, even in the sense that they help us broaden our knowledge and get us interested in not only history but also a range of other fields that we would normally never read about. For example, last year on my trip to Hong Kong, so I got a chance to visit the Space Museum, and I don't know if you can tell or not, but I'm not exactly a fan of science stuff. However, I did find the visit very informative, and I learned a wealth of things about planets and the development of rocketry. So I guess I did walk away feeling a little more sophisticated. So do you often visit museum? As I was saying, so museum are not really places where I frequent. I think I only visit museums when I'm traveling abroad. Museums are kind of a must go for tourists when they're in a foreign country. So I think they are wonderful if you want to have a better understanding about the country's culture and history. Vocabulary highlights rất nhiều. Yeah, thì cái cụm nó sẽ là a plethora of, a myriad of ha. A handful of là một vài, house là lưu trữ ha. Trong hợp này house không phải là nhà, nó không phải là danh từ mà nó là động từ là house là lưu trữ ha. Broaden somebody knowledge, broaden somebody horizons là mở rộng kiến thức ha. Okay. Informative là bổ ích, a well of và rất nhiều, frequent là thường xuyên lui tới. Trong trường hợp này thì frequent này nó lại là động từ, được chưa? A must go là một cái nơi phải đến. Yeah. Okay, so next topic, social networking sites. What kind of social networking websites do you like to use? Well, I mainly use Facebook, which is kind of ubiquitous these days. I mean, if you don't have a Facebook profile, it's kind of seems like you've been living under the rock. I am also on Instagram, which I find more interesting than Facebook. So when I scroll through my Instagram feed, I am always inspired by the images and beautiful pictures people take of sceneries, clothing, food. It's different story on Facebook though. I mean, my Facebook feed is just flooded with people complaining about their lives. That is so depressing. Are you a social person? Yes, for the most part, I would say that I'm quite social in the sense that I don't shun crowds and conversation, but I'm usually quite open to meeting new people and making new friends. However, I don't think being antisocial is bad per se. Some people might come off as cold and unapproachable, but once you get to know them, they can be surprisingly friendly and cool. I have a few friends like that. Is it easy to find real friends on a social networking site? For the most part, I would say no. It may be easy to find people with common interests on social networking sites like Facebook and Twitter, but these people are not necessarily your friends. I think you need to have like a physical interaction with a person over a period of time in order to be friends with them and trust them. After all, friendship is built on trust, right? What kind of chatting application or website do you like to use? I do keep in touch with the people in my social and family circles using messaging software called Messenger. It is actually an application developed by Facebook to augment the social networking site, which is quite neat because most people are on Facebook these days. In general, I would say that the app is very intuitive and easy to use. People in different countries also use messaging apps that are developed especially for the user base in their certain reasons. For example, many Vietnamese teenagers use a program called Zalo, whereas Kakao Talk is the most popular choice among Koreans. Vocabulary highlights ubiquitous là phổ biến, live under a rock lạc hậu ha. Feed là màn hình tràn ngập những cái post mới nhất á ha. Be flooded with là tràn ngập, shun là tránh là ngại, được chưa? Open to là cởi mở với cái gì đó, anti-social là ngại giao tiếp với người khác, per se là về bản chất. Unapproachable là khó gần, common interest là sở thích chung, physical interaction là tương tác ngoài đời thật, keep in touch giữ liên lạc. Circle, mạng lưới bạn bè. Augment là hỗ trợ. Intuitive là thường thì nói về kiểu công nghệ đó ha, là dễ hiểu này, dễ sử dụng ha, gần gũi với lại cái tức là sao ta, thân thiện với lại cái người dùng á. Yeah. Next topic, neighbor. How well do you know the person who lives next door to you? To be honest, I am not that familiar with my neighbors. I mean, even if we see each other quite often in the morning when we leave home for work, I only know their faces, not their names or their backgrounds. It's not that antisocial. It's just people in Vietnam don't actively get to know the people living nearby. What kind of problems do people sometimes have with their neighbor? From what I've heard, all sorts of ugly things, really. For example, I used to live in a neighborhood where people would quarrel day in, days out. They would call each other names, and sometimes when the argument got really heated, they would get into a fight. Another possible conflict that may arise in neighborhoods is dispute over property and land. In Vietnam, a lot of people take advantage of loopholes in property law to expand their house or build another floor, which may violate their neighbors' land ownership. So, do you think neighbors can help each other? Well, I think people who live in the same neighborhoods can and should lend each other a hand every now and then. For example, people in Vietnam are quite comfortable asking their neighbors for cooking ingredients, something that foreigner may find quite silly, but it's true. I don't think neighbors can be of help as far as finance is concerned, but it's okay to ask your neighbor for help with minor things, I guess. Vocabulary highlights, anti-social, antisocial, antisocial. Let's check it out on your own dictionary, okay? Ngại giao tiếp với người khác, ugly là kinh khủng, bạo lực, day in, day out, hàng ngày, heated là nảy lửa, dispute là tranh chấp, loophole là lỗ hổng trong luật á, okay? Lend somebody a hand là giúp đỡ ai đó, as far as something is concerned, về mặt gì đó, giống như là in terms of. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you for your watching. Bye bye.